y'all, it's Jessica from Sloppy Swatches. Today I have a look at the monthly awareness polish box for the month of August. This month, 10% of all sales will be going towards canine service and assistant dogs. I'll leave that link down below so you can check it out. It is definitely a worthy cause. You can buy this entire box or you can buy just the polishes that you're interested. I'll link the storefront and social media of all the makers down below. I did purchase this box with a blogger's discount and I'll go ahead and get right into it. So first up is Epilepsy Awareness. This is from Turtle Tootsie Polishes. This polish is described as a peachy cream with a purple shimmer. So I did find that this pulled a little bit bisque shade for me, definitely in more of a thicker kind of curly formula. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Epilepsy Awareness swatched on my natural nail. So here's a look at that first coat. I am going in a little bit thicker with this one because it is more of a curly formula. That means it's going to be a little bit more sheer. One coat went on nice and easy, a little bit sheery here, so I'll let that dry and then show you how it builds up for me in a second coat. So here's a look at that second coat. Again, I am going in thicker with this one. It's just my preferred way of applying polishes. If you wanted to go in thin, I think you could do that. You may end up needing an extra coat though. 2 coats makes for a nice even coverage. If you want to stop here and do a really fun French, you totally could. I do still have some nail line going on, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how it builds up for me in a third coat. Again, I am doing a nice thick third coat here. I definitely think you should give yourself time to dry between layers, but 3 coats for sure brings this one completely opaque. So here's a look at that completed mani. At 3 coats before, a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting. That purple shimmer is a little bit subtle on the nail, but it makes for a beautiful, classy shade. So here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with a glossy top coat. This is my swatch photo again under artificial lighting and then once more at an angle in direct sunlight. So next up is Epilepsy Advocate, and this is coming from All Mixed Up Lacquers. This is described as a pink base with multiple sizes and shades of pink glitters, small purple and blue flakes, as well as a rainbow flakes. So this is another more of a curly formula. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Epilepsy Advocate swatched on my natural nail. So here's a look at my first easy coat. I did just go in for a nice normal coat here to get a good base started. This did make for a nice even blush of color across the nails. I also got a good mix of those glitters. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry and then show you how it builds up for me with a second coat. So here's a look at that second coat. I did go in a little bit thicker here, and that definitely helps build up the coverage and gives a ton more of those glitters. I do have very hard nail lines, so I did still have some visible nail line here. I'm going to go ahead and let it dry and then show you how it builds up for me with a third coat. So here's a look at that third and final coat, and this does pull this one completely opaque. It does dry down a little bit demi-matte, so I definitely do recommend a nice glossy top coat, but here's a look at that completed mani at 3 coats before, glossy top coat underneath my artificial lighting. It still was a touch wet there, so that's why it's so glossy in that shot. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with a glossy top coat. This is my swatch photo again underneath that artificial lighting and then once more at an angle in direct sunlight. So next up is Seize the Day by Lifestyle Lacquer by Nail Jewelry Bling. This is described as a red holographic shade with both linear and scattered hollow pigment. This color is absolutely beautiful. You guys know I love reds, and this is an insane linear holographic polish. So I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Seize the Day swatched on my natural nail. So here's a look at that first easy coat. This one goes on so smooth and so easy. It does appear to be in a bit more of a jelly base, so I do have a good coverage, but it has that almost squishy finish. So I'm going to go ahead and complete this coat and then show you how it builds up for me in a second coat. So here's a quick look at that second coat. I'm going in for a nice normal coat here, and this does pull this one to complete coverage. I did notice that if I wanted to go in a little bit thick on some of my nails, I did go in a little bit thicker, that it definitely did deepen the color. So if you wanted to go in for 3 coats, I think that's going to make for a beautiful finish as well. So here's a look at that completed mani. You can see I went a little bit darker there on my ring nail. So this is before a glossy top coat. I definitely do recommend a nice glossy top coat. Here's a view from another angle underneath my artificial lighting. I completely and totally lost the sun for like 2 days, so I'm so sad I wasn't able to show you guys this one in the sun, but it is definitely blinding. So here's a view from another angle underneath that same artificial lighting. So next up is a 1 in 100, and this is coming from a Pretty Beautiful Unlimited. This is described as a light blue base with silver galaxy and micro glitter, violet to blue shimmer, and then red to bronze to copper ultra chrome flaky. So I'm going to go ahead and show you there on the side of the bottle. Sometimes that silver label can kind of distort what the color looks like, so this is a pretty accurate look. Here's a quick look at that brush shot, and I'll show you how 1 in 100 swatched on my natural nail. So here's a look at that first coat. I'm just going in for a nice, normal, easy first coat. This definitely does make for beautiful, even coverage. It is quite sheer here, but those flakes are amazing. They spread out on the nail all by themselves. It's not one that you're going to have to fuss with at all. So here's a quick look at a second coat, and this does pull this one to complete coverage. Again, if you go in for a third coat, I think it does deepen up that finish a little bit, but I did like this at just 2 coats. So here's a look at that completed mani at 2 coats before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting. Those flakes do make just for a very minimal texture, so I do recommend a nice glossy top coat. Here's a view from another angle underneath my artificial lighting that really helps bring out that purple shimmer. This is my swatch photo again under artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle. So next up is We Wear Purple from Sassy Pants Polishes. This is a shimmering, almost like blue to purple duochrome polish. It is in a bit of a jelly or crelly formula. It's kind of right there in the middle. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how We Wear Purple swatched on my natural nail. So here's a look at that first easy coat. This one does go on super smooth, really easy. However, I did notice that there were some brush strokes and it also started out fairly sheer. So I'm going to go ahead and complete this coat. If you wanted to use this as a topper over a darker or even similar color, I think that would work really well as well. So I'm going to let that dry and then show you how it builds up for me with a second coat. Again, I am going in a little bit thicker here, and I did have to be a little bit mindful of those brush strokes. I am going to go ahead and complete this coat and make sure I cap the tip before I get to my third and final coat. So I'll let that dry and then come back and show you how it builds up. This is a look at my third and final coat. I did go in, again, a little bit thicker here. I did still have a flash of nail line left, but it definitely adds a ton of that blue to purple shift. It's going to look more blue in some lighting and more purple in others. That makes for a really fun finish. So here's a look at that completed mani at 3 coats before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting. I think this is going to be a polish that's fun to play around with a matte top coat as well. So here's a view from another angle underneath my artificial lighting. This is my swatch photo under that same lighting, and then finally once more at an angle. So lastly today I have You Do or You Don't, and this is coming from Alter Ego Body Care Products. This is described as a clear base with a black and white hearts as well as micro glitters. So this is definitely more of a topper. It does have a good mix of both black and white glitters. Those hearts did settle towards the bottom for me, so before swatching this one I did set it upside down overnight. Here's a quick look at that brush shot, and I'll show you how you do or you don't swatch today over 1 coat of Zoya's Elise. So this is just right out of the bottle. I didn't do much fishing. It was upside down for a little bit, so you can see there I didn't get much hearts. I did go ahead and do a quick double dip and see if I could kind of fish one out on its own, and I was able to. It did take just a little bit. I definitely recommend doing glitter placement if you're interested more in the hearts. It did make for a really pretty mix though over this red base. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how it looks like with a little bit of glitter placement. So I just threw down some of the polish on my mat here. If you want to use a sponge, that's definitely more helpful. It's going to absorb more of that base so you don't have to fish them out so much. I'm completely out of sponges though, so I do enjoy this final look. It's just one that you're not going to get right out of the bottle. So there's a quick look at that. So here's a view from another angle underneath my artificial lighting before a glossy top coat. So this is going to need something to smooth those hearts right out. This is my swatch photo again under that same lighting and then once more at an angle. So that does wrap up my swatch and review of the August monthly awareness polish box. This month, the proceeds are going towards epilepsy awareness. Again, I'll link everybody down below. If you're interested in seeing more photos, I do have those on my blog at sloppyswatches.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at sloppyswatches. So thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.